Welcome to the Pathways to Success. I'm Julian Placino, recruiting professional turned success speaker, show host, and media entrepreneur. This show is dedicated to helping you find your unique pathway to success by having conversations that educate, inspire, and transform. Together, we'll interview some of the world's greatest leaders and uncover their secrets to success. Thanks for tuning in, and on to the show. Welcome to episode 210 of the Pathways to Success, where we have conversations with inspiring leaders about their business and their keys to success. I'm Julian Placino, your host, and we have an outstanding show in store for you today. Today's episode is sponsored by City Central. City Central offers innovative workspaces for your business to thrive. Make sure to use the promo code PATHWAYS for 50% off your first 3 months. So make sure to check out City Central at citycentral.com. It is my pleasure to welcome Shay Rowbottom, CEO at Shay Rowbottom Marketing. Shay, welcome to the Pathways to Success. How are you?
I'm good, Julian. Thank you so much for having me. And it's really exciting to be in this studio because I've watched your show in this studio. I've seen Trevor's, who you know, show here. So it's cool to actually be here. And I can confirm for everyone that is not CGI. It's literally a freeway behind us, so very neat.
And I'm really excited that you're here. And it was so cool to see somebody on LinkedIn for many years and finally meet you in person. So I'm really excited about our conversation.
Yeah, me too. I like to say it's good to put a face to the profile picture.
Yeah.
Like face to the name is what it used to be, but now we all see each other's profile pictures. But the profile picture is not always so accurate. So yours is, though. Yours is good. Yeah, yours is spot on.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit of the older generation on LinkedIn. They hack it a little too much. They got like the photo from 10 years ago on their LinkedIn. So
there's the first tip. Make sure to get your photo right on LinkedIn.
Updated profile photo, updated on LinkedIn. Yeah, you got to, This is not Tinder. You don't need to go crazy with the false advertising here.
Well, Shay, before we go deep into your background and also your keys to success, you have a very special event taking place tomorrow evening. Yes. If you would tell us what this is and how our viewers can learn more about it.
Absolutely. So it is actually my birthday tomorrow. I'm so excited. I decided, since I was already going to be in Dallas for Video Marketing World this past weekend, which was awesome, I decided, why don't we just stay a few extra days because my birthday is the 19th of October, and let's just have a party in Dallas. So we decided to throw a little pop-up event. I got Jamar, my event coordinator, right over there. He's amazing. And we're doing it at the Hop and Sting Brewery in Grapevine. It's a relatively new brewery, so there's going to be presentation. Obviously, I'm going to share a little bit about my experience, some marketing tips. There's also going to be live music. It's the first time I'm performing an original song that I've written in over 5 years. There'll be a DJ, there will be cake, and you can get your tickets on Eventbrite. The link should actually be in my description on LinkedIn and all my platforms right now. I've been promoting it. So that starts tomorrow, October 19th at 6 p.m. at the Hop and Sting Brewery in Grapevine.
Awesome. And we'll make sure to put that out on all of our social places. Go support Shay. That sounds like it's going to be an incredible event.
Super fun, yeah. And you might come. You might
I will definitely do my best.
He's got some client obligations, but he might come after.
Right. So Shay, I want to jump into a little bit about your story because I started this show, Pathways to Success, to learn the secrets of success of the greatest performers out there, because I know when somebody produces a result, in their mind lies a kind of a methodology of how to repeat that. So when it comes to how this all started for you, was there a particular event, a place that you can point to and say, this is where my personal brand began to emerge? What does that look like? What's the genesis story?
Oh, the genesis story. Well, I have always been very difficult to control. That's just in my nature. I was a very rebellious child, did not conform easily. Not that I was, super poorly behaved. I was a straight A student. I worked a job. I was on the soccer team. I had a lot of things going for me, but I still wasn't quite that in that box of like, okay, mom and dad, I'll just go to college and get a safe job and do what you want, And they wanted that for me, but it was like, I just was very hard to control. I just always wanted to do my own thing. And I think Gary Vee says it so well when he says a true blood entrepreneur they cannot breathe having a job. They cannot breathe having a job. So that was like me. I couldn't breathe in these traditional work environments. I was not made for a cubicle. I ended up bartending just to, have a job that was more lively and pass the time. So I would say that the real reason that I am here today is because I didn't listen. And I think for a lot of people that can be seen as a negative, but it's important to understand if you are unhappy and you are perpetually forcing yourself to get out of bed, forcing yourself to go to that job, forcing yourself to do these things, and you can tell it's not really fulfilling. It's simply not for you, and you should listen to that. These things, it's not a tragedy that we experience burnout. It's not a tragedy that we experience pain and depression. These are opportunities to wake up. This is a wake-up call. So for me, I just listened. I said, look, I understand everyone's saying college, everyone's saying get a job and this, but something doesn't feel right here. So I listened to myself. I ended up going into music, which we talked about a little bit, and music led me to entrepreneurship. There's a lot of crossovers between being an artist and being an entrepreneur. I started to learn how to market, started to learn video editing, started to learn how to promote myself. And that eventually led to my career with Margle Media, the first company that I founded, which I was still running when I originally got on LinkedIn, which was a video licensing firm. And after doing that for a few years, I discovered LinkedIn, started to apply all the video techniques I'd learned there on my LinkedIn. There was not a lot of competition, so I was able to really stand out, sell my shares, and start a whole new company teaching exactly what I had done for myself, which is video marketing on LinkedIn. So long story short, I would really just say I did what I wanted, and I refused to listen to everybody telling me that I would fail, and a lot of people did. A lot of people told me I would fail, that I would end up unsuccessful, but as long as you have that one person to believe in you can make anything happen.
So if there was one particular lesson that your life's journey represents, from where you mentioned to getting started on LinkedIn, what's the lesson we should learn from Shay's life and apply to our own?
I would say don't let the fear of embarrassment hold you back.
Yeah.
Seriously, I mean, that's a huge one for people. And I teach video to a lot of people who've never, ever seen themselves on camera before. And I see the process they go through with the shame and the embarrassment and the insecurity of oh my God, what are people going to think? And what if I get haters and all of this? It's I embarrassed myself so freaking much when I was younger. And to many people, I'm probably still embarrassing myself. But if you can break through that, you start to attract people that do love you for you, that do appreciate what you're doing, that don't find it embarrassing. They're like, oh, wow, look at this art. Art is subjective. There's something for everyone there. And in the beginning, I was surrounded by people who did not appreciate my art, who did not support my expressiveness, who shamed it a lot. And I was embarrassed, for sure. I dealt with a lot of embarrassment. I put myself out there time and time again, even though a lot of people around me didn't like it. But the reward for pushing through that is you start to find people who do like it. And I started to attract fans. I started to attract people who did want to hear my music, who did like my videos, who did want to support my mission. And that's the biggest thing I tell my clients, make a fool of yourself, embarrass yourself. There is one life to live. And so many people live their life like they're going to be here forever, meaning they live their life as if their reputation is gold. And it is important, but to live your life as though you're going to live forever, I need to maintain this image because I'm going to be here forever, it's actually the opposite. We should remember that we die, and if you live your life like you're going to die, that whole, my image needs to be perfect, I need to uphold this reputation, that starts to change a lot. Because everyone whose opinion you are fearing will be dead in 100 years.
So it sounds like a matter of perspective is what has helped you and perhaps your other clients. How many people would you say that you have actually helped overcome the apprehension of being on video and beginning to build their personal brand? How many people would you say?
Well, like actual paid clients, about 1,000.
About 1,000.
Yeah, but as far as like just people who follow me and my content for free, I would like to think tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands. There's a lot of people who've never paid me a dime who have reached out and said, through watching you, I found the courage and the strength to also get on camera and start making videos.
So because that's an incredible use case, because what is the thing that ties them together, the ones who have successfully gone from fear to their first video, and of course you having overcome shame and fear and all that, what's the thing that you see amongst people that changes, that allows them to put themselves out there?
You know, I love this question actually, because it's really just about how bad do you want it? How bad do you really want it? If you claim that you want something and you are perpetually not getting it, you don't really want it.
Yep.
You don't really want it. And it's a conversation that you need to start having with yourself. It's really important. Okay, I recognize there's something going on within my subconscious, because your conscious mind, you're like, of course I want to be a millionaire. Of course I want 100,000 followers. Of course. But there's something underlying that's preventing you from getting it, that's probably protecting you, because you probably do have some underlying fear. Well, I don't want to be too big. I don't want to take up too much space. I don't want to be seen as just wanting attention, right? That's a big one. I know all about that. So I always tell people, if you are perpetually not getting it, you don't really want it, and just sit with yourself and ask yourself, why don't I really want this then? What would be the worst thing about me having this? What would be the worst thing about me becoming an entrepreneur? What would be the worst thing about me being a millionaire? What would be the worst thing about me having a huge following? And when you really dig into it, there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of responsibility being an entrepreneur. Some people don't want that. There's a lot of fear that, oh, if I make a bunch of money, then I'm going to lose it, so they don't even want to get it in the first place. There's a lot of fear that if I have a big following, I'm going to embarrass myself. So really, really digging into those things and ask yourself, why am I not getting this? Why don't I really want it? And the clients of mine who've had the most success, I can tell, like, they're ready. They just want it, and that's the difference.
So it's their why, their reason, the reason for why they're doing something. And I think we've heard that as a commonality of why a lot of people experience change. So thank you for bringing light to that.
Yeah, of course.
So LinkedIn, make the case. Why LinkedIn for business versus every other platform out there?
You know, LinkedIn is the most conscious social media platform. I really feel that it's a tragedy that it gets lumped into social media, because it's really not social media. It's a business website. And what you find oftentimes on LinkedIn, when you try to segue people off of LinkedIn onto other platforms, like, oh, follow me on YouTube, Instagram, and all this, oftentimes people will say, sorry, Shay, but I don't actually use anything but LinkedIn. I'm just on LinkedIn. So what does that tell us? That tells us it's not really, these aren't really social media users. These are business people. And they're specifically choosing LinkedIn because they know it's a platform to connect with other valuable professionals. So there's no other platform with this many educated people on it with money or connections to the person with money. So either the user themselves is the decision maker, or they're connected to someone who is the decision maker. So the audience is just so much more valuable here. I always say, if you're running ads on Facebook or Instagram, but you're not doing organic on LinkedIn, you're missing out big time, because the market here is so valuable. And people are very helpful here. You know, I think because it is a business platform, people are a lot more conscious. You know, you get a lot less haters. Like, I'll post the same thing on LinkedIn as like my Facebook or my YouTube, and it is night and day, the comments. And you know, I post a little controversial stuff sometimes, okay? So I'll own that, but it's interesting to watch the psychology of the different platforms, because on LinkedIn, even when people disagree with me, they're usually pretty kind. Like, for the most part, you do get a little troll here and there on LinkedIn, but for the most part on LinkedIn, people are very kind. Hey, I disagree, Shay. Here's why I disagree. Here's my, you know, here's my debate or rebuttal or whatever. But hey, I still respect you. Have a great day. Yep. The same post on YouTube or Facebook, I will just get bullied. I will get death threats. I mean, it is crazy. And what does that tell us, though? It tells us that broke people are angry, because on LinkedIn, everyone's there to make money. Everyone's too busy to bully you. You know, you only get bullied by people who are doing worse than you. And on LinkedIn, there's a whole lot of people doing better than me, you know? So the way I look at it is, if you're new to starting content and you are scared and you are dealing with insecurity and some of these things I just mentioned, LinkedIn all day, because that's a way softer platform to start to release your content. No one's gonna bully you there. I mean, it's far and few in between, and for the most part, even if people disagree, they're very respectful.
Yeah. I personally have also experienced a very different culture on LinkedIn than all of the other social platforms.
Crazy,
so
right?
if you're a business professional, entrepreneur, absolutely, it seems to be the place to be.
Yeah, it is, you know.
So there are 3 key results here, as advertised, that you have produced that I want to start to begin to unpack. How did you do it, and what are the lessons that we can learn from that, right?
Okay.
So the first piece is 695,000 plus followers on LinkedIn.
Oh, so close to 700. Why can't I get it for my birthday? Come on, guys, go follow me.
You built an incredible 7-figure business from LinkedIn.
Yes.
And also you hold the record for most organic video views from a LinkedIn single creator.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay. So let's first talk about the following. What did that look like? What did you do in the early days to first hit that kind of critical mass? What were the steps?
Okay, so I told you about the business on Facebook that I had. So that taught me everything I needed to know about video marketing. I was essentially responsible for curating and licensing potentially viral clips and stories for large blogs on Facebook. So, I mean, my clientele was massive. I was working for the largest pages on Facebook. If you've ever heard of like Power of Positivity, Jesus Daily, Little Things, Men's Humor, F Jerry. I don't know if we can cuss here, but you guys know F Jerry is a popular page. Like all of those types of pages, they needed content that was safe. They needed content that wouldn't get them flagged, because previously on Facebook, how a lot of these pages originally grew is they were just stealing clips from YouTube and little viral snippets here and there, and we also see that on LinkedIn now. But Facebook started to crack down. So Facebook cracked down, they said, no more, we're gonna start reporting this, and suddenly there was a need in the market for safe, effective, licensed videos. And I had just started to edit videos. I had just started to learn Premiere, and eventually landed a gig editing videos for a large Facebook page, which eventually led to me working for the rest. But essentially, I didn't even realize at the time, I just thought like, oh, this is a job and this is cool. I like working on the internet. But I didn't even realize at the time how blessed I was to be in that position, because think about it. I didn't own a page. Okay, I had no following. I was just this freelance editor, you know, in some dinky apartment back in Milwaukee at the time. But all of my clients knew how to grow a following. All of my clients knew how to make something go viral. They all knew how to monetize. They were experts. And I was in a better position than any of them, because they didn't always share their hacks and tricks with one another, because they were kind of competitors. But I got to hear all of the intel from all of them, because they wanted their videos to go viral. So they had to consult the editor of like, hey, yo, make the headline like this, and yo, put a bar on top, yo, make this flashier, do that. And like, I was just collecting all this data on what goes viral. Very cool. And at my peak, I was doing over 1 billion views a month for all of those pages collectively on Facebook, all organic. All organic. And these are like trending stories you still see on the internet. Like, oh, this dog has 3 legs and look how cute, or this cat does a crazy trick, or this vet is coming home and surprising his mom from the army. Like all those like trending little clips, those videos. Yeah. That's what I was responsible for curating, licensing, re-editing, rebranding, and reselling. So in the process of doing this, and I did it for years, I just became an expert at headlines. I became an expert at getting to the point. I became an expert at cutting out the fluff, you know, because it was all objective. It was all, how do we go viral? How do we get more views? How do we get more reach? How do we make this more engaging? And remember, these weren't my videos, so I had no ego in the game. I was completely removed. It was just like, how do I make this cat look really cute? You know? And then when I found out about LinkedIn, Q, you know Q? Quentin Michael alums.
Absolutely. Yeah, with a hat.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So that was
he's great.
Yeah, that was who introduced me to LinkedIn originally. He was a LinkedIn coach, actually. Well, not like he was like a video on LinkedIn coach. Yeah. What I do now. Mm-hmm. And he heard about my business. He was like, oh my gosh, you already know everything about video marketing. Why don't you go on LinkedIn and make your own videos because there's like no competition here right now. And he was in a similar field and he was getting leads doing it. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll try it. So remember, I was originally an artist. I was originally a musician. So I had no fear of getting on camera. I had no fear of being on stage. I'd done it many times. It's just I took 3 years off to learn video and run this marketing company. So when I got on LinkedIn, it was like a perfect fusion of the two. I had all this knowledge and expertise on how to make videos go viral. And I had this background as a performer where I was pretty confident on camera, like from the get-go. Yeah, so I get on LinkedIn. I start making these selfie videos. Like, it wasn't anything crazy starting out, just little videos of me filming myself. And I knew the formula. What was the formula? Provide as much value as quickly as possible. Cut out all the fluff. Don't share anything that's not going to contribute to the key takeaway, which is to provide the user with value. I was really good at coming up with headlines. I never introduced myself. I just got right to the point. And it just stood out. It stood out so much on LinkedIn, and people were very grateful for it because, especially back then, because now I talk about like everything under the sun. You can kind of get away with that more when you grow a big following. But back then I was really just sharing marketing advice. And people loved it because it was like to the point, it was engaging. They weren't seeing a lot of videos on LinkedIn yet. And I didn't waste people's time. So I always say, if you're starting videos and you don't know what to talk about, just always ask yourself this. What do I know that my target market doesn't know that would make their life easier? And lead all your videos with that. You know, just get straight to the point, watch it back, be objective with yourself, ask, is there anything in here that's not necessary, that's just fluff? Because you also want to keep it short. It's social media. So yeah, I mean, that was really the formula. I just provided as much value as possible, got straight to the point, kept it short, stayed consistent. And in the process, people just started to flock to me. And then within 8 months, I was getting so many inquiries for, oh, can you help me with LinkedIn video, that I decided it was time to leave my other agency. And that's when I sold my shares, moved to Miami, and started the LinkedIn business.
So to kind of recap that, and the things that I kept hearing over and over were add value, catch the attention, and add it like in the first like few seconds of the video, headlines.
Yes.
And if you were to add a few other like points to share with our audience to start to build your following, what else would you say in terms of the what are you creating?
Well, it's important that you do have a clear goal on like what you're selling. A lot of people, especially on LinkedIn, they have many different businesses, and they, you know, on their profile, like try to promote all of them at once. I say stick with one key offer, whatever you think is most ideal for LinkedIn or whatever is your highest priority at that time, and really make that your focus. It's good to have options, but it's also, it can be dangerous on social media to give people too many options. Then they end up doing nothing at all. They're just like overwhelmed. So that's number one, you know, really figure out what you want to focus on in terms of the offer, the business. But also, you know, just be yourself. Yep. I mean, that's like so much of what I teach. It's like everyone thinks that they need to like create this image and be like, okay, now I'm going to make videos. Who am I going to be on the video? It's like, just be who you really are. It makes it way easier. It's more fun. It makes sustaining and being consistent a lot easier, because if you're wearing this mask, I have to clarify because everyone's like literally wearing masks now. If you're wearing this metaphorical mask, it's going to get draining. It's going to get really tired. You're going to give up. You're going to be like, oh, I really don't want to do videos again today. And it's like, why? Why do you not want to do videos today? Unless you're lying and you're not really being who you are, there's no reason you shouldn't want to, you know, get on. So I always say, for every person that you turn off for exposing your true self and who you really are, there's going to be 10 more people knocking on your door. We are living in a time now where people are very much waking up to how inauthentic things have been, how staged things have been, how fake a lot of what we see in the media has been. You know, this is the time where people on social media will actually be more drawn to you the more they sense you're just being authentic and you're not trying to put on a show. And what does that mean? That means including sometimes the losing, and not only talking about how much you win. You know, it's kind of like the the Ty Lopez era is like coming to an end. Like, I'm winning, look at my cars, I'm just winning, I'm winning, like, come win with me. And that's valuable too, don't get me wrong. Like, people need to see that, and that's inspiring. But I feel like the paradigm is shifting. People now want to see relatability. They want to see human beings that help them to not feel alone. Oh, I have that problem too. Oh, I struggle with the same insecurity as this guy. Oh, she's going through that. I thought I was the only one going through that. This is what gets people in the door who are ready to buy your service in a way that maybe you just talking about your offer and your expertise alone wouldn't have actually gotten them in the door. Rather, when they see a video where you open up and share something personal and perhaps even vulnerable, for a lot of people, that's the tipping point where they're like, yeah, you know what? I want to hire you because I feel safe with you and I feel connected to you as a human being.
Yeah. And I think that's definitely key. I mean, we've all heard people like to work with, buy from, and hire people they know, like, and trust. And when you share your humanity, you're able to connect with another person on a different level outside of, hey, can I sell you my services?
People do business with people, you know, not businesses. And that's what I always say. It's like, there's this quote, emotions don't belong in business. I can't stand that quote, you know, like, because I get it. You know, I do get where it's coming from. Like, obviously in business, we need to like keep a level head and make logical decisions. But the reality is emotions absolutely belong in business because people do business with people, not businesses. And to deny that emotions are a part of business is to deny our very humanity that allows us to connect with other business professionals to do business in the first place. You know, that's why connecting on LinkedIn is so important, having these conversations, going to live events, talking to people, opening up. We do business with people we feel connected to, people that we like. And many, many studies by now have shown that sales is emotion-based. People buy on emotion. So keep that in mind as well.
So everyone tuning in right now likely is wanting to learn to use LinkedIn to grow their business, right? Because when I speak to corporate audiences, sometimes they still think it's like vanity likes and things like that. But LinkedIn specifically, they're human beings with jobs who work at places and own businesses, right?
Right.
So if you could boil it down into everything that you know about LinkedIn and coaching people to build businesses there, what is the secret, if there is one, to making money using LinkedIn?
Well, provide value, like I said, you know, because when you're doing that, you're positioning yourself as an expert in your industry. So like me, for example, I was always just sharing like free video tips, free marketing tips. And what does that do? It gets people to look at me as the authority. They're like, okay, this woman knows her craft. She's always sharing free tips. She's making my life easier. And so it might not be the moment they see your video that they need to buy, but as soon as something comes up in like a work meeting where they're like, okay, we need LinkedIn video, we're gonna get active on LinkedIn, we're gonna, oh, I know who to go to. It's that Shay Rowbottom woman. I follow her. She's the expert on LinkedIn. It's like, boom, what you said, right? Know, like, and trust. I've already broke down those 3 pillars, so I'm way more likely to get the sale because now the sales call is not me educating. I've already done the educating in the video process. So the sale is really just they sell themselves. And that's why I've had so much success and why I haven't had to actually run any ads. But the other thing is you do want to be active on LinkedIn. There's a lot of people who just want the quick fix, like, oh, run my profile for me, get a third-party app plugin, have some bots. It's like, I really caution people on that. I think that a huge factor to my success in the beginning especially, which I didn't mention before, I'm glad you're asking now, is that I personally replied to every comment. I sent out daily connections. I replied to every message. I mean, I said, thank you for coming to my page. Thank you for commenting on my post. If you know of anyone else who would find value in this content, please share my page. And I was just really hands-on building my audience personally. And I think that that's a huge factor. You do need to show up. You need to actively send out new connection requests every day. Go comment. Go engage with people in the news feed. You know, don't only comment on your own posts. Also go comment on other people's. Show up as an active member in the community because that's also where people find you. You know, they don't just find you from your own content. They find you when you comment on other people's stuff. Especially if you're giving valuable advice, if you're using that comment section to, again, position yourself as an expert. So that would be, the key that I would say for getting business is to provide value, position yourself as an expert so that you break down those pillars of people knowing, liking, and trusting you. And have a very, this is important, have a very optimized profile.
Yeah.
So you'll notice in my content, I hardly ever pitch, but my profile I pitch. My profile is very much an ad for my services. It's the content that goes in the news feed that I don't want to be selly. I just want to be intriguing. I just want to provide value so that they click on my page. Like, who's this Shay woman providing me all this free value? Oh, let me click on her page. And then when they get to my page, it's very clear what I do. Oh, LinkedIn video marketing? I need LinkedIn video marketing. And then they start to sell themselves. So that's a big one on LinkedIn. People usually use their profile to like boast about awards, share a lot about like their experience. And that can be valuable too, don't get me wrong. But it's more important that when your target market lands on your profile, they know immediately within the first 5 seconds that you are in fact the person to solve their problem.
Yeah, the people who I see LinkedIn work for the best are the people who are active content creators, engage meaningfully, and their page is less of a resume and more of like a landing page kind of sort of.
Landing page, you're right.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
like websites are becoming obsolete.
Yeah.
It's like the social media pages are the new websites.
Yeah, exactly. So one final key here that I want to sort of uncover. So you hold a record in terms of the number of views that you have been able to generate on LinkedIn, and we just were a part of video marketing.
Original views.
Original views.
Yeah, original. When I say that, I mean, I want to be clear.
Sure.
There's pages on LinkedIn that have gotten more views than me, but they're not original. They're like curating those cat videos and that stuff that I mentioned before.
Right.
As far as original content from an original creator like my face in the videos, yes.
Gotcha. So what is the key here then? So in video marketing world, we talked about this importance of watchability. What have you discovered personally that works for you in terms of creating watchable content?
As in terms of watchability, in terms of like them staying on the video? Or
Staying on the
like
video, yes, exactly.
watching to the end?
Yes.
Okay. So a couple things. One, cut the fluff, which I mentioned before. A lot of people, they don't even realize how much their ego is in the video. And it's like, is this really necessary to get the point across? Or is this just my ego? But I do something, and this is also what I teach in my program, why a lot of people hire me, called cut style, where I actually write a video script line by line so I don't have to memorize it. And I have a tripod in front of me, just like this. I'll actually have the script down here so you can't see it. Well, right now you can see it, but imagine it's like, a chest up video. I'm looking down, I got my first line. Okay, I memorized my first line, and then I look into the camera and I read that line. And then I look down and I memorize my second line, look up in the camera, read that line. And you do that step by step all the way to the end of the script. And it's much easier because you can, regain your composure. You can, add in a little bit of humor and things like that. But the beauty in this style is when it goes off to the editing team or the editor, they cut out all those pauses. So all the little me looking down, that's not actually in the video. And then you get this flawless, like chop, 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 chop. And I'm looking at the camera speaking the whole time. So why is this so valuable for watch time, as you asked? It's because on social media, any pause in a video is an opportunity for the viewer to click away.
Yeah.
So with the cut style, you're eliminating all the pauses. And that was a lot of feedback I got in the beginning, especially when I was doing a lot of those cut videos. I don't do as many anymore, but people were like, I don't know what it is, Shay. I just always watch your videos till the end. And I'm like, well, I know what it is. It's because I'm moving so quickly. I'm not allowing an opportunity for you to leave. I'm not leaving in any pauses. So that is a super valuable tactic for growing and keeping people's attention. And like I said, just as much as you can, cut the fluff, cut the stuff that's maybe unimportant. You are, at the end of the day, competing with a lot of other creators by now, and keeping it short is a good investment.
Shay, that is a big thing that you just mentioned there. I think a lot of people probably come to you and say, hey, how are you so natural on camera, this, and this, but you have a process, and I think that is a huge, huge key takeaway.
Yeah.
So Shay, before we close out with some few kind of fun, kind of get to know you questions, is there any other final advice that you want to share with our audience in terms of, build your brand on LinkedIn?
Be yourself, be yourself. Life is short. I think that there's a lot of fear in really being our authentic selves because a lot of us have built a life around something that's not us. And a lot of professionals maybe like deep down know that, and they're like, oh no, if I start being myself, I'm gonna have to face that I don't really like my job, and I'm gonna have to face that I don't really like my wife, like all these things that but they're real, right? And they're scary. So I just want to encourage you to do it anyways, because what I've found with a lot of my clients, this is very interesting. Not all of them, but a decent amount of people who've bought my program and worked with me on LinkedIn and video and content is the more they open up and start to share who they really are, their business changes. A lot of them have switched industries. A lot of them hired me as one, oh, I'm an accounting. Can you teach me how to do accounting? Sure. But then by the end, they're like, I'm a confidence coach. I'm going to teach people. And I'm like, okay. And then they create like a whole new business. So keep that in mind. It's like, it seems scary. Like, oh, I don't want to open up on camera. I don't want to be who I really am because I'm going to have to face the ways in my life that I haven't been authentic, right? But the beauty is with such a supportive community like LinkedIn, you'll gain so much positive reinforcement from those videos that you'll start to develop ideas and resources, meaning people on the platform actually willing to help you to grow your next business, to get onto your true journey, which is your actual purpose in life, your more fulfilled, highest path after you take the brave step to be yourself and share who you really are on camera. So that would be my advice. Don't be scared. You can do it.
That's awesome. What I think is really beautiful about what you said about that is that it's not just about making videos and growing your business, but people are experiencing a transformation by putting themselves out there because they're learning more about who they are.
100%. Yeah, it's a beautiful journey. I see a lot of my clients gain confidence through the videos. There's nowhere to hide on video. There's a reason we're not doing text, we're not doing photo. It's like you grow a lot more when you force yourself to get on camera. You are forced to see the things about yourself you don't like, and that confidence that you build shooting videos actually translates to everything. Your sales rate will improve, your public speaking will improve, or maybe you never even did public speaking, but now you're not scared anymore, and you'll start to get approached to be on people's lives, to be on shows like this, to be on podcasts. So I get a lot of my clients also saying that, like, oh, this video program transformed my confidence. Like my whole business is benefiting, not just my views on LinkedIn. So yes, definitely keep that in mind as well. I think that we are moving into an age where video is just going to be like, it's just everywhere. I mean, it already is everywhere. So, get ahead of the curve now. You're gonna pay now a little bit to learn and invest and build up that blog, or you're gonna pay later because social media channels are just becoming the new television channels. So if you don't invest time now to grow your own, you're just going to end up in future years spending your marketing budget to promote your offer on other people's channels that have a relevant audience to you. So it's like, wouldn't you rather do the work yourself, grow your own page, have your own channel to promote, and just like I mentioned, there's going to be other businesses with relevant offers that you can now collect their advertising dollars on when you grow a big enough page, and now they want you to promote their product as well. So pay now or pay later. I say get in now, and video is not going to go anywhere.
I love that. Shay, we're just about out of time right now. The show is called The Pathways to Success. How do you personally define what success is?
Happiness. Success is what makes you happy. Don't get trapped in that idea of, oh, success means I have to be a millionaire. Success means I have to live in Beverly Hills. I have to do all these things. Success is different for everyone. It is simply whatever makes you happiest. For some people, a more humble life, or whatever you want to call it, is what makes them happier. And I know a lot of people with a lot of money and a lot of success who are not happy. And I know many people who make $60,000 a year plus benefits, and they're the most happy, free, liberated people I've ever met. So just keep that in mind. Don't get caught in the hype that you need to be a Kardashian and you need to do all this stuff to be successful. Success is happiness, bottom line, end of the day. So go be happy.
Love that. Shay, one more time, tell our audience how to connect with you, follow you, learn more about your event. Tell us all this.
Yeah, so definitely follow me on LinkedIn. That's linkedin.com/in/Shay Rowbottom. All of my original content goes out there first before my other platforms. But if you want to follow me on Insta, YouTube, Facebook, everything else, it's just at Shay Rowbottom. And to learn more about my business and how we work with professionals, you can go to shayrowbottom.com. My website, there's a form you can fill out there to set up a call with with my team. And last but not least, tomorrow is my birthday, 29. Last year, my 20s, guys. So we got to do it big. Last year. So definitely check out the Eventbrite page linked in the description here. Tickets are on sale. It's at the Hop and Sting Brewery in Grapevine, Dallas, Texas here. Super excited. There's going to be a ton of LinkedIn people there, lots of professionals, great opportunity to network, make some new business contacts. Also, we will be presenting about LinkedIn, about marketing, a little bit more about my experience. There will also be music. I'll be performing music, and we will have a DJ and cake, and ultimately just a really good time. So definitely get your ticket, come out if you're in Dallas, share the link with anyone in the area who might want to join, and I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you.
Shay, this has been an absolute pleasure. We'll make sure to have all your contact information in the show notes. It was wonderful to finally meet you. You delivered as advertised, so thank you, Shay.
Thank you so much, Julian. It has been a pleasure.
And everyone else, thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the Pathways to Success. As always, make sure to subscribe, comment, and share. And we'll see you next time on the next episode of the Pathways to Success.